Alright, guys, we are back with some more Dylan Kurosaki show, where we sit down together as a community and watch videos together while you see me react to them. Now, first of all, I would like you guys to do a favor for me. You know how much I love Horror Shorts Party. These guys put a lot of work into their videos and they deserve your love. So what I need you to do is, you see this button right here? Subscribe. I need you to subscribe to Horror Shorts Party. They are a majestic team of people who put their time and love into their cartoons. And I love that about them. They have so much dedication. And they deserve your love. Anyways, let's get right into this, because I love Horror Shorts Party. They make great stuff. The voice actors are incredible, and not just that, to Horror Shorts Party themselves, they do beautiful cartoons. Let's do this. Let me just turn on the light so we can get this started. Alright, let's do this. And yes, this time I can find the headset. Yeah. Let's get nice and close up to the mic so you can hear my voice. And you can see me. Okay. But you guys, I really, really love you. I really, really, really love you. And Horror Shorts Party, I love you too. Okay, let's do this. Let's do this one right over here. This one's got True Spring Break Horror Story. Yes, Terrence Nicholson, my favorite voice actor.
It was a Friday morning when I was getting ready to meet up with my friends from college to head to Coachella. My friends were always excited every time we brought up Coachella, as they were extreme EDM freaks that loved to rave and party like the majority of students on campus. I personally didn't like EDM and was more of a rap kind of guy, but I always attended the events as Coachella usually hosted special guests to do special appearances, so that made the idea of going much more appealing to me. Another reason I enjoyed going was the guaranteed barrage of beautiful females that would usually show up to these types of events. I remember my friends meeting up at my place to do a usual pre-drinking routine, which was something we always did prior to any events similar to this. I recall taking multiple shots with my female friends Jody and Mika, while my friend Nick watched us as he was unfortunately the designated driver. Cheers to getting wasted and not kissing someone that's related.
Cheers! Cheers!
That's when we got into the vehicle and began to drift off onto the freeway.
I second that!
To a much anticipated event we've been geeking about for months on end. The ride
Let's
usually
try not
took
to
us
get
about an
late.
hour and a half to get there, but
Get
seeing
late?
as Coachella was a large event, it prolonged the trip by another hour or so due to the traffic from the Coachella attendees. When we finally reached the destination, Nick parked his car in the pre-designated lot as we began to make our way inside the Coachella premises. The view was extraordinary. I always got a huge boost of serotonin from the incredible visuals being displayed. I legitimately felt like every time I attended music festivals of this magnitude, it was always equivalent to being a kid in a candy shop. The majority of people I saw were, of course, the usual hipsters and jocks
I
who
can feel
always have
that.
that one person in the group annoyingly
I feel
vlogging
that.
every minuscule second of their experience. Then, of course, there were the extreme
Well, that's
EM
gonna be the
ravers who always went
YouTuber.
over the top with their flamboyant outfits. But then there was that one occasional overaged creep who always looked out of place in events like this, considering the majority of guests were usually in their 20s and early 30s.
Yeah, that is weird.
I recall this one guy looking like he was in his late 40s, possibly 50s, from the beer gut hanging down from his trousers and the rough-aged look he had on his face. I usually couldn't care less who attended these events, but this guy gave me straight-up predator vibes from the way he was lurking around the women. That's when the man eventually catches me.
Yeah,
looking
me
at him.
too.
I nonchalantly look away as I can see the man in my peripheral vision approaching our group. We all awkwardly stare at him as he begins to catcall.
How about you back up, fam?
Hey, sweetie, you want me to rock your world by adding a little something to your drink?
Like what?
That's when he begins to gargle up
But no!
a large slimy glob directly inside Jody's cup. She drops it almost instantaneously in disgust.
What the hell, dude?
Yo, what the hell is your problem?
Hey, I wasn't trying to
Yeah!
rock your world, dimwit. I was talking to Miss Mellons over here.
Get the hell away from us or I'm calling the cops.
Okay!
Next time, say it a little louder. So that
Please.
the cops can actually hear you.
He walks away as we began to head over to another vendor opposite to where the man
That
was
guy's an
walking to grab
idiot.
more drinks. As the night went on, I was so plastered, all
That
I
was
saw
not
was nothing
cool.
but hallucinative imagery while fanboying over the performances that were currently on stage. This happened for about 2 nights straight, as me and my friends would get completely wasted and pull all-nighters throughout our whole experience at Coachella. On the last night, I remember my friend Jody was sitting on my shoulders, which was a common thing for females to do during festivals like this. I recall a man in the midst of the crowd.
Yeah, they
staring
kind
at
of
my
do
direction.
that.
I honestly couldn't tell if I was hallucinating or not, but all I can remember was that the man was standing in the opposite direction away from the stage as opposed to facing it. At first
Okay,
glance,
can this
I
guy
couldn't make out who
stop?
it was, but then I realized that it was the same guy from before.
That's creepy.
This obviously had a million red flags written
Yeah,
all
but he
over it,
needs to
as
stop.
no person in their right state of mind would look at the audience's direction throughout the entire duration of a live performance. What the hell?
What's wrong?
I just
Ah!
went to the restroom.
Mark?
No, thank
you
you.
okay? Do you need me to walk you there?
No, I'm fine, Jody. Just wait here, okay? That's when I began to run towards the porta potties as I desperately needed to vomit.
Yeah, I know you're not okay. They should have gone with you. They loves you.
Jesus Christ. I recall
cares
sitting on
for
the
you.
toilet seat trying to regain some of my consciousness back in hopes that I could.
Hold on. Hold on. There might be some Easter eggs here. So there's on the left side, there's Horror Shorts Party, the hit series, Deep Web Series 2.
Sober
I don't
up
see
and
anything
join
else.
my friends at the concert again. That's when my entire world began to shake. No, I mean literally, my entire world began to shake as the porta potty began
Whoa!
violently shifting back and forth. What the hell is going on? Somebody help!
Why?
I was so intoxicated, I genuinely thought I was experiencing an earthquake. The porta potty then abruptly stopped shaking as I hear a shallow voice whispering,
I decided to rock
What
your
the
world,
freak?
too.
porta potty and surveyed the circumference of my surroundings, only to see no sight of the man.
Are you okay, sir? I heard you screaming.
I began to sprint towards the sleeping area where designated tents were, as I really needed to get some rest.
Okay, I saw a video. That's really
curled up in my
freaky.
sleeping bag in hopes that I would sleep off my intoxicated state. I made
He's
sure to
having
update
an
my friends
episode.
by sending a quick text in the group chat, just so they knew my whereabouts as I began to drift off. About 5 minutes later, I recall my friend Jody approaching the outside of my tent saying,
Hey, babe.
Hi
is everything
there.
okay?
How you doing?
I told her, yeah, I think I am.
I want to give you a kiss.
Okay.
Here, pass me your phone. I'll remember this moment forever.
Stop! Stop!
Kiss me! Kiss me! Kiss me!
Mark. Come on,
Kiss
Mark.
me!
Come on.
Kiss me!
Come on,
Kiss
come
me!
on. Kiss me more.
Kiss me!
Stop.
Kiss me!
Stop.
What the heck am I doing?
That's when I opened my eyes, only to be awoken by my friends.
Yeah, now they look
The festival
normal.
had unfortunately
What
come
happened
to an
there?
end, and it was time to make our departure home. I remember sobering up on the ride home while praising my friend Jody by saying, "Hey Jody, I just want to thank you for consoling me in the tent. It means a lot."
Anytime. But when did I console you?
Jody, you kissed me in the tent, remember? Ooh, didn't know you guys were a thing.
Mark? What you're talking about?
That's when I pulled out my phone as I remembered Jody taking a selfie of us kissing. But what I saw on my phone literally made me sick to my stomach.
What?
There were about a
Who
dozen
was it?
selfies of me and that man laying next to me in the tent while I was passed out drunk.
Okay, this next story is called True Uber Horror Story. And there's like 3 of them.
I was a 21-year-old male living in the outskirts of the city. I personally enjoyed living in a rural area, as I found it more peaceful than living in the city, where it was often congested with hordes of pedestrians roaming the streets. The area where I resided was made up of crop fields and farmland, not the commonly seen infrastructure I was used to seeing in the city. It was nothing but just farm animals and broad landscapes glistening within the horizon. I usually was in the city for the latter part of my day, as I was
I like it how the
full-time
trees
Uber
are
driver that
flashing.
worked close to 12 hours a day.
That's
I
cool.
personally didn't like the job a whole lot, but unfortunately I didn't have much of a choice, as I needed to help my parents pay off their mortgage that was lingering over their shoulders for the last decade or so. I wasn't much of a people person, so I would always drive in silence or casually have the radio playing in the background, just to ease the subtle awkwardness of a complete stranger
It is from the
sitting on
other
passenger
store
side next to
that we
me.
just saw.
I remember on this one particular night, I was heading home from a long shift of driving a bunch of drunk college students around the city, considering it was the
I
weekend.
love the
The
3D
time was
in
around
this
2 or 3
store.
in the morning
That's really
when I was
cool.
driving through the
Horse
back ends of the
party.
countryside, as it was usually the quickest route to get home. It was generally recommended not
Yo,
to
I
take this
love
direction during these times, as
the artwork
there
in this
wasn't many
store.
street lights around, just tall crop fields and one gloomy road ahead.
Mop! 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 Oh, Lord.
What the hell was that? I remember getting out of my car and slowly approaching the front bumper just to see what the hell collided with my vehicle.
You okay?
Charmin Ultra Soft is twice as absorbent, so you can use less.
I can recall seeing a deer's body
Oh
laying
my
lifeless in the
sweet
dirt.
lord!
It was almost
Oh my
as
sweet lord!
if the sudden impact from my car had completely obliterated the deer's physical frame into a bloody matter of guts and organs scattered all over the ground. The deer was surprisingly still alive,
What?
as I could hear it wheezing in agony, while its legs began twitching from the initial shock of the collision.
Oh
I
lord!
legitimately felt sick to my stomach, and immediately went inside my car. I didn't know if calling 911 would be the wisest decision, considering I was young and naive. I was honestly convinced that there was a possibility that I could go to jail. That's when I ultimately decided to take matters into my own hands, as I grabbed a pair of latex gloves from the glove compartment of my car. I put them on and held the deer by its legs, while
I like the its face though.
coming from a distance. That's when the paranoia began settling inside my head.
Whoa!
From afar had called the cops on me. I then went inside my vehicle and began to drive off, not caring if my car had further trampled whatever life was remaining within that deer.
Ah!
It's just a deer.
Ah!
It's just a deer. It's definitely not a hit and run. I just made an honest mistake. How the hell could it be my fault if there's no goddamn streetlights? I eventually make it home and pulled into my driveway, as I decided to clean the remaining blood residue lingering on the hood of my car. I didn't want to raise any suspicion from any onlooking neighbors, so I decided to park my car inside my
That's
garage
smart.
so I could hose my car without the feeling of being watched. After several minutes of intense cleaning, I decided to quietly approach my washroom without waking up my parents. I began to fill my bathtub up with warm water, as the idea of soaking for an hour or two wouldn't hurt my chances of calming my nerves down. The next couple shifts, I was able to get back on the horse as I
love
conducted
this
business
3D
as
work.
usual. I
That's
honestly
beautiful.
swept the entire deer occurrence under the rug, as I needed to get on with my life and not latch on to a simple mistake that inevitably would have happened. I
That's
decided
smart.
to take an entirely alternate
I
route
like him.
and not the dark
That's really
back
smart.
roads when heading home. I couldn't run the risk of hitting another deer, as the guilt from the first deer still tears me to shreds internally. I remember this one night, I worked the usual graveyard hours when I picked up this one girl near a busy location in the city. She surprisingly lived in the direction of where I resided, so I figured dropping her off was a bargain one couldn't refuse. As we made our way home,
Why? That's
remembered looking at my
that's
rearview
concerning.
mirror and seeing a rotting deer's head carcass laying on the back seat of my car.
Ah!
That's when I slammed my foot on the gas
Ah!
and began jetting through the freeway as the Uber customer yelled.
What the hell are you doing? Sir, can you please pull over? I want to get out. Stop the car! Stop the car! Stop it! Are you crazy? Are you crazy? Let me out of your car, you freak!
That's when I abruptly swerved my car in the direction of the back roads where I had initially killed the deer. I
Really?
gradually accelerated
You're not
my
paranoid,
vehicle
dude.
through the
Stop it. Get some help.
field of crops and trees, while simultaneously contemplating if I was hallucinating or if my brain was playing sadistic tricks on me. I then casually
at his
drew my
eyes,
attention towards
though.
the passenger, and I could visibly see the woman's head turn into a deer's.
Ah! Ah!
It's just a deer. It's just a deer. Don't
Dear
worry.
Lord.
It's just a deer. It's definitely not a hit and run. I just made an honest mistake.
This is a story that happened a couple of years ago when I was 19 years old. I had a friend named Matt who was celebrating his birthday at a nightclub downtown. It was pretty exciting as he was turning 19 himself, which was the legal drinking age from where I resided. I remember wisely taking an Uber as opposed to driving down there myself, just in case
I love
wanted
the
to
art
get
style of
hammered.
this one.
Turning legal age where I was from always gave a reason to go over the top with the drinking,
It's cute.
so taking
I
an
love
Uber
it.
was completely justifiable. When I eventually got inside the club, I could recall dancing with multiple females while hammering down countless drinks. Again, it was my friend Matt's birthday, so we usually hosted these extravagant events by getting a booth along with bottle service.
Hey, dude, you having a good time? Yes, sir. I bet you're checking out that blonde at the bar, huh? Come on, man, why don't you mind your own beeswax, birthday boy? You like 'em thick, don't you? Oh, you know what else is thick? What? My vomit.
Wow!
Oh.
I remember not feeling as intoxicated after puking in the bathroom stall, but that didn't stop me from throwing in the towel and calling it a night. I can recall heading out of the club and calling an Uber, as I knew my chances of picking up a female was slim to none, considering I had regurgitated ramen breath. I ultimately purchased an Uber pool, which was when multiple riders heading in the same direction as you could also share a ride. I particularly didn't like sharing rides with strangers, but seeing as how cheap the Uber pool was in comparison to the regular Uber, I thought I'd give it a try. I wasn't exactly the wealthiest guy at the time.
You don't look like
Just an
it.
average college student who was broke and lived off eating noodle packs to help make ends meet. About 10 minutes later, my Uber finally arrived curbside near the club. As I approached the Uber, I nonchalantly hopped in the
That
back
looks
of the
so
vehicle, as I
sketchy.
could see the front passenger seat being occupied by another
I can
male.
already tell.
I remember seeing the male passed out drunk, as I assumed he had consumed a large amount of
Hopefully.
alcohol, considering we were in the club district of the city. As the Uber driver begins to drive towards our destinations, I kindly introduce myself by saying, "Hey there, long night, ain't it?" "Yep, I'm kinda used to it." "What's wrong with him?" "He's just drunk as a skunk, just like the majority of you kids I pick up." "Yeah, well, you only live once, you know." The driver acknowledges my statement by nodding his head as he proceeds
YOLO.
to carry on with the ride
YOLO.
ahead. I remember briefly being in and out of consciousness, as I knew the ride was going to approximately take a little longer than usual due to the ride being an Uber pool. I kindly request the Uber driver to play some music in his car by saying, "Excuse me, sir, do you have an aux cord I can use to play my music?" "I thought you said you only live once, no?"
He's only
yeah.
wanna play music, dude.
Well, enjoy your life while you're still here, kid."
Mm.
I confusingly respond with, "What do you mean?
Yeah, what do you
Don't you
mean?
just enjoy looking at nature?" I then looked outside and realized that he was taking us through a secluded rural area where it was nothing but
And
crop
why?
fields and land. That's when my sobering reality set in, as I realized he had completely driven off route from the requested destination. Sir, where are we going?" "Can I ask you a question?" Sure.
No.
Why did you get inside my car?" "Because you're my Uber driver?" "And why did you assume that I'm your Uber driver?" "Because you picked me up?" That's when I checked the Uber app and noticed something so disturbing that still raises
That's
the
not
hairs
his
on the back of my
Uber.
neck
Run.
just thinking about it. The profile picture of the driver was the same man passed out on the passenger seat.
What?
As I casually glanced at the passenger, I could see a trickle of blood
Oh my
dripping down from his
lord!
mouth. That's when the driver looked at me through the rearview mirror and said, "I'm not an Uber driver, kid." "Then who the hell are you?"
Exactly.
"You're gonna wish you never lived from the torture I'm gonna put you through."
Fam! Fam!
That's when I opened the door and immediately jumped out onto the side of the dirt road as the man abruptly stopped the vehicle.
Run!
I knew I had fractured my ribcage, but through sheer adrenaline, I had picked myself up and ran deep into the middle of a nearby cornfield. I remember running for about 5 minutes or so, until I was a good couple yards away from the vehicle. That's when I heard the man yelling from afar, saying,
"Come back, kid. I'm not gonna hurt you. It was just a joke."
I remained silent and
You
crouched
were
down
not
the entire
joking,
time as I dialed
family.
911 on my cell phone. I remember whispering my location to the operator while simultaneously using the Google Map feature. What was 15 minutes felt like 15 hours as I saw several police units show up at the disclosed location. I ultimately ended up filing a police report and getting dropped off
He
at
is
my house
so
by one of the
smart. I
officers.
respect that.
As far as the so-called Uber driver, he was unfortunately not found, as the vehicle was located near a forest preserve about a mile away from where the cornfield was. The man in the passenger seat was in fact the real Uber driver, who was unfortunately pronounced dead at the scene. I still don't know what the man
What
planned to do with
happened
me that night.
then?
All I can speculate is that the man was severely ill in the head.
The Purple Man!
Professional
That's
help.
the Purple
I
Man!
now don't drink, nor do I take any form
From
of
Five
public
Nights at
transportation when I go out,
Freddy's!
as the fear of encountering that man still triggers me to this day.
Oh my god! That's the Purple Man from Five Nights at Freddy's! Okay, here's the third story.
This is a story that happened a few years ago when I was working as a Lyft driver. I worked countless hours picking up random clients and bringing them to their respective destinations. I quite frankly enjoyed my job, as I got to meet new people every week, and sometimes got to engage in conversation about their personal
I
life.
love the artwork, though.
I was a pretty
That's
social
amazing.
guy, so this was a common thing.
I love the artwork.
Well, for the most part anyway. The job wasn't always sunshine and glam, as some people just brushed me off and strictly wanted to be driven without any small talk. I remember this one Saturday night. I had parked my car close to the club district, as it was the hotspot for Lyft drivers trying to get the most amount of clients possible. Most individuals around this side of town were usually intoxicated and were just fetching for a ride home. I remember driving about several different individuals throughout the night and got tipped pretty decent each time. The time was roughly 1 a.m. when I decided to park my car curbside near the district once more, and hopefully drive one last client home before calling it a night. That's when a girl abruptly appears face first on my driver's side window, while cupping her hands around her eyes, as if she was trying to look at me or something inside my car. To be honest, I was a little taken aback, as my car didn't have its windows tinted, so seeing her nosily peep inside my car was rather bizarre to say the least. Ma'am, can I help you? She just stared at me, and then said in a frantic voice,
Please drive me.
Ma'am, is everything okay?
Please just take me home. I'm begging you. Let me inside your car, sir.
The woman relentlessly pleaded for me to take her home, as the tone in her voice gave off an impression that sounded wretched and distressful. Ma'am, I can't take any clients unless you requested a ride through the Lyft app.
I need a ride now. Please open the door. I'm begging you.
Okay, I'll drive you. That's when the lady hops in the passenger seat and directs me to drive on the freeway.
Concerning.
I knew driving her would be a huge risk, as it went against Lyft's policies, and also my moral values of picking up random strangers without the security of the company's app. I couldn't help but draw my attention towards the lady. It was honestly difficult driving, as I couldn't help but glance over at her direction through my peripherals. Ma'am, is everything okay? Do you need me to call the cops at all?
No.
Why are you doing that?
No.
She just kept repeating that word while hyperventilating, like she was borderline about to experience an anxiety attack. Ma'am, you're really scaring me. Are you sure everything is all right?
Just get off at this exit and keep driving.
Ma'am, where are you taking me? The road ahead is just nothing but forest preserve.
Yeah.
Do you live outside of town or something? And how are you going to pay?
I already said I was going to withdraw money from an ATM, so just shut up and keep driving, okay?
Doesn't mean it can be rude.
I've honestly never felt so much fear in my entire life than this particular moment. I was convinced that the woman had to be mentally ill or delusional to some degree with the weird behavior and antics. There was about a 5-minute awkward moment of silence as I kept driving through the one-way streets surrounded with hordes of trees and forests.
Hey, can you pull over here? I just have to pee really, really bad.
I then slowed the vehicle down and eventually made a stop to the side of the road, as a woman gets out and begins to sprint towards the forest to do her business. That's when I began to play the waiting game, while casually texting my fiancé regarding the situation. As I was looking at my cell phone, I could see my car begin to illuminate with light, shining from the back of my car. A car just pulled up and oddly parked right next to the rear end of my vehicle. I then saw a hooded man get out of the passenger side and sprint towards the forest as I began to scream, "Hey! Hey! What the hell?" That's when I got startled by another man who abruptly slammed his hand against the driver's side window of where I was sitting at. He then said, "Where is she? Where is she, you little rat?" "I don't know what you're talking about, dude. I'm just a Lyft driver." "I saw her get inside your vehicle." That's when I saw the hooded man drag the woman from out of the forest while covering her mouth with one of his hands. I could visibly see and hear her muffled cries for help while forcibly getting dragged into the back seat of their vehicle. The man by my window then sprints to the vehicle and immediately drives off into the distance. I began to dial 911 while attempting to chase the vehicle, but unfortunately couldn't keep up as they aggressively sped away. I then pulled over to the nearest exit and waited for the police to show up. About 15 to 20 minutes later, the cops showed up and I began to file a police report. When I was asked about any information regarding the vehicle, I almost wanted to rip all my hair out, as I failed to get the simplest information, which was getting the man's driver's license. I still think about that incident every time I'm on the road now. All I can hope for is that that woman ends up returning home safely.
I don't think he's
and that
going
those guys end up getting
be
caught,
honest.
so that justice could be
By the
served.
looks of it.
I ended up filing a report to Lyft, and even went as far as to set up a dash cam in my vehicle, just in case I get involved in any disturbing situations in the future. I just hope that I never encounter another stranger like that again.
Wow, okay. Well, I'm going to end it right there, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. If you want to see some more things like this, please let me know, because I love doing this. Alright, so first of all, guys, go and help out Horror Thoughts Party. Subscribe to them, because they deserve your love. Also, they have merchandise as well. So go and visit the merch shop to get some Horror Thoughts Party merch. And also, go and check out the videos, because they put a lot of work into them. And they deserve your love. If you want to see more, let me know. By Astro. Blasting that like button. And keep relaxing, and don't stop believing. And most of all, I love all of you.